Oh, shit. Oh, hey. Hey, man. Everybody, it says I'm live. Am I live? Am I? Am I? Tell me if I am live. If I'm not live, then hold on. It feels good to me. It feels like a pulse. Okay. Anyway, I am back and I am live. Had some issues. I go back about 2 weeks ago. I was sitting at my computer, editing my video, the one I had been speaking about for weeks prior. There I was, editing, and the screen just went black. So I'm like, man, electric. Probably came unplugged or something. That was my thought because the computer had no light on it, right? So I went, checked it out, looked it over. Man, I'm hitting the on button, nothing. So I told my friend, I said, dude, it just went out. I think it's the power supply. Can you get a power supply? Yeah. So I called places, man. You guys got power supply? Oh, that's a specialty item, man. Oh, yeah, I can get one for you. Don't take me wrong, man. In fact, we got them on sale right now. How much? Well, you see, starting price on that's going to be about 80 cents. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? No, I can get one for 25 on eBay, free shipping. Well, we can get it. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't care when you can get it. So I ordered a power supply. I put it into my computer, exact same power supply. And I hit the go button. What happened? My motherboard literally caught on fire, fried it. And I'm like, so I tell my friend, man, dude, I smoked my motherboard, man. It's gone. That shit turned red, man, literally almost caught flame. He's like, well, you could get another motherboard. And I'm like, no. I'll tell you what I will do instead. Do you think the hard drive was hurt? No, probably not. I'm like, okay, because everything that I have on that case for 3.5 years is on that hard drive. So I ordered a duplicate of the computer that I had before it got smoked, duly, and I got that. And we exchanged the hard drives, man, from my old one into the new one, and here I am live. So through all of that, I am back and still have my hard drive with everything on it. And I began editing that video. So everybody that is here, thank you very much for being here, because I'm live, and without you, me being live would just be having a pulse. Really, if you think about it, that would be it. So thanks for being here. And tonight, because literally got this computer going yesterday, I think yesterday or the day before. I need to think back. It was yesterday. It was yesterday afternoon. Yeah, I had to hit mute. You know what? YouTube does not pay. Now, I go back to the year 2013. From October of 2013 to April of 2014, I made over $5,000 that YouTube paid me on my videos. That shit doesn't happen today. It don't. In fact, they just have an algorithm that goes, oh, he tells people how it really is. We don't want that. We want to tell people what we want them to believe it is. So let's make sure we don't pay that peasant for his creation and his freedom of speech and his human rights. Let's just stop that. Let's don't pay him at all. And that's why I ask for donations, because I do not like asking for donations. But you know what? When I put this much work into it, I do feel that maybe, just perhaps, those who want to may donate. And that is everybody's choice. And I always thank those who do, except this last time, I did not. So if you want, but I will send you guys an email. And had I went through and gotten all the names, I would at least be given a first name shout out to every one of you. Every single one of you. In fact, you will still get a personal email from me, the big cat, the big cheese of the house. So anyway, and here I am. And, because the short notice of how this all came down, tonight will be a discussion on the crime. not the crime itself. I mean, not exactly what transpired right there, but just on the case in general. So if you are here for that, then you came to the right place, and I'm once again happy that you made it. So now this week I am, let's see, wait, right? Let me check the calendar date here. Yes, this Saturday, I believe. Yep. Saturday at, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern time, I will be on Incognito's channel, and we will be discussing Daniel Nations. Now, when I got this computer here, where I put my old hard drive into it, now, before that, I was over at her live show, and I was on the older computer that I had, but that dated back before I got my new old computer. So I was talking to Miss Cav on the telephone, and I told her, I says, you know what? I said, somewhere, if I go back in Power Director, there may be those old videos that me and Greeno did on Daniel Nations. Well, we got the one with the interview that we did with his wife, Caitlin. But what I really wanted, and this is what bothers me here. This is exactly what bothers me. We had made a video, and in that video, we put the Delphi case number for the double murders, which was sent as a subpoena to Colorado jail that Daniel Nations was in. It was a Deuces Tecum with the case number on it. And we made that, and we discussed that case number, or mentioned that case number, and this is not long before they fried my computer. I mean, because what they did was YouTube goes, nope, delete it. We're deleting your channel. I had never had anything on that channel in years. And within, I think it was 5 days, they hit me with 3 community guideline strikes and deleted everything that I made. 738 videos, 8,600 subscribers, wiped it all out and deleted every bit of it. Why? Because I'm not the media and I tell you how it is. But what they did stop us from having was that case number, because we did not have it memorized. Now, if I did have that case number, I don't think that it would amount to anything, probably. And if it did amount to anything that was law enforcement knowledge, I would not be handing it out anyway. But in most cases, anything that involved a case number would be at least public knowledge to where people could see it. But I don't have that case number. But we was looking for it, and we was trying to, yeah, thanks, Radar. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Because we had that, and it was immediately after, like, we had mentioned that. But I think that it was in the practice of what they was doing anyway. They put a gag order on literally everything involving the Delphi case. So if it had any numbers or any subpoenas or anything being sent from one law enforcement to another in regards to that case number, it was like taken down where the public could not see it. So anyway, that number is now long gone until they bring Mr. Well, man, what do you want me to call him? I mean, should I even mention his name? I mean, TJB, like that, to court once they file charges. And that's coming up, man. What is this? July, August, September, October, 3. We have just over 90 days, man. We have like 90 days and 96 days until his trial begins. Now, when that begins, I don't know how far they will take it. I don't know if they're going to give him any kind of a plea or not. I mean, and really, if you was in his shoes and they said, well, we'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give you life with the possibility of parole in 45, 50 years. When you're like 104 years old, you'll have a possibility of maybe getting paroled in. I mean, how else could you do that? I mean, like, he knows he's never getting out, firstly. But he's going with guilty, of course, because, it wouldn't matter if you did it or not. Your best bet is to always, plead innocent, plead not guilty, as they put it. You can't really plead innocent, man. It's either guilty or not guilty. Either way, you're guilty. So I don't know how they're going to do that. I really don't. But when they do put that up, then they will have the case number available to the public. And then we can kind of maybe delve into that a little further. I don't know how long it will be that he's in trial. O.J. Simpson was in his trial for a long time. Will it be that long? Look, man, you got two women that walked away that he left. I say left alive, but I mean, they were alive there that can testify to everything he did. I don't know how he could not be found guilty. You know, I mean, there's just like no way out of it for him. So he will probably be getting life or life behind bars without parole. That's when the big snowball arrives, because that snowball is going to turn into a giant snowball before it gets down. He's got a lot of rapes and murders on him, man, a whole bunch. I mean, I've named a few, but honestly, man, you know, of everything that I've looked at, I think that me and Ms. Cav Incognito, throw her name into that as well, that I think that we're just scratching the surface, man. Hey, Patrick, hey, how you doing, man? And Shar, Crime and Innocence, Truth and Justice, Radar, Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson, I don't, not down in Missouri. He can't really take a plea, right? I mean, on that to avoid death. But, and again, I mean, like once it goes beyond Missouri, then that's kind of, I mean, that's the big one, because then, man, I mean, they may go to him and say, if you plead guilty to everything, all of it, then we will like maybe just, you know, maintain the life without, you know, possibility of parole and just send you back to Missouri. Now, if the feds come in and make this a federal case, and that is conceivable that they will, then they could go for death on any or all of them. Now, that would actually go over the top of Iowa, because they're not the death penalty state. But the citizens of Evansdale want death for the suspect should he ever be found. Now, that could outweigh that, because same would apply in Delphi, except we are a death penalty state, but the same would apply for Michigan, who is not a death penalty state, and Mary Pryor and Ann Pates. So it really depends on how they play that out, you know, and I kind of hope they do make it federal. I mean, I look at it like this. Now, if it was not a federal case, he's got to have his initial arraignment in Carroll County. Now, they would, you know, move that case to somewhere else, probably Marion County, Indiana, maybe Fort Wayne, something like that. But if it's a federal case, I don't know where they would hold it. I really don't. I mean, I always thought it was like, you know, federal, that you had to be tried where the case was at. But when you have multiple cases, how do you do that? You see where I'm at? In fact, I would be tempted to say that California or Missouri would probably have the most as far as that goes, but I cannot name one other than the Catholic supply store sexual assault and homicide that was in Missouri. You know, you got the 77-year-old lady, but she wasn't murdered. But I'm going to say that over the time that he lived in Missouri, there was some in Missouri. When he lived in California all those years, there was some down there as well. Yeah, well, you know, right. But if you was him and they said, tell us everything, and this is just me on that, I think that a guy who has committed murders of that kind, you know, over that long and gotten away with it, I think that he would probably want to come out with everything. That way they can't go back on that and say, but you didn't tell us about this. Now we're going, you know. So I think that I mean, if it came down like that, he would probably tell them about ones that they didn't have a DNA or fingerprint match, things like that, and actually just come clean on the whole solid. Because once you're in there on stuff like that, that's, you know, you want that to be as big as possible. I mean, you know, for him, he wants to be known as that killer at that point. Yeah, exactly. He was 4 hours away, and he crossed into Eastern time, And going back, it did take an hour off of his clock because it's gain an hour, lose an hour. And he would have been home by 6 o'clock that evening. Perfect time to get there. His old lady was working days, probably got home or got off at 5, probably got home in or around the same time she did, you know, depending on how far it was from her house. Well, that's a good question, Joe. And I'm glad you're here, because that is a good question. And I think that the reason behind that is this. C.C. Moore. Okay, C.C. Moore. Now, they arrested John D. Miller up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, for the rape and murder of April Tinsley in 1988, and that was in 2018. That was 30 years after the fact. C.C. Moore took his DNA, because they had suspect DNA, traced that to a family line, okay, and then, you know, traced that down, then manually went into the family tree to narrow it down to John D. Miller and his brother. And she said it's one of these two men. Now, as soon as that happened and he was arrested up there, I'm like, hey, familial DNA, detectives. I'm like, man, that's really useful, right? So, you know, Greeno and myself, we contacted Sheriff Lesby here in Carroll County, asked him if he had heard about it, if they was thinking about using it. He's like, well, it's relatively new. You know, it's really new. And we may, you know, do you have any contact information? Like, you know, and she reached us back, but it was on the video that I made. And she wrote a message, you know, to us like, yeah, I've heard of the Delphi case, you know, when it happened. And if law enforcement asked me, I'd be delighted to help them. Now, after asking us about the contact information, because we just got online looking at any way that she could be reached. So we got all of the little things, contact us this way, contact and send them to him. But the very next day in the Logansport paper, it said, Carroll County investigators will be using the same technology as what got John D. Miller. And I'm like, you dick, man. Why didn't you just tell us that, you know? You see where I'm at? I don't know, man. Felt a little used, man. Like he was just kind of toying around with this. I already knew that they was going to do it. But after they came out with that they was going to be using the same technology as what C.C. Moore had used. And that's what I put on there. You know, that's what we put on the video. We said, well, probably within 2 months, we'll know exactly who it is. That's how long it took her. She started in May, and they got him in the middle of July. So, you know, what are you looking at, man? Like about 2 months. So I'm thinking, okay, within 2 months, we should know who did it. You know, they'll come out and they'll say, we got the guy. We went to his house and arrested him. 2 months later, though, nobody was arrested. But 2 months later is when he sexually assaulted the 77-year-old down in St. Louis. Now, the next month after that, he got the road rage pullover and was allowed to go, drunk or not. No, right? Oh, you're drunk. Yeah, fair enough. Just slammed on brakes, made a guy hit you. Man, we get that all the time. Just go home, dude. You know, right? I mean, that's how, like, Missouri, state police handle it. Oh, yeah, man, you're really drunk. Who cares? We all drive drunk, right? Go home, you know? And then the following month, because, see, this is what I believe. I believe that any minute he was expecting law enforcement at his door to arrest him on a bunch of murders that were all traceable by his DNA that the FBI had. Now, if she traced that to the guy who it was who matched that, then they would nail him on all those. And he knew it. He knew he left his DNA and fingerprints in Michigan. Mary Pryor and Ann Pates. Knew he left his DNA and fingerprints in Delphi. Knew it. I mean, he knew all of this, man, because they weren't traceable through the legal database. They could not just be found. He had never been arrested. So I think that he felt that time was getting short. They was going to be there any time. They was going to be knocking on his door. And I think he wanted to go out in his own way. And he knew when he went into the Catholic supply store, I'm going to be hit. I'm going to be nailed on. So he went in and full knowing, handed the waitress at Hot Shots, man, his business card. Here's my business card with my name and address on it. I'm going right next door over here down the road, man, commit a big crime. And when she heard about it and the way the guy was dressed, she called law enforcement and said, I think that guy was in here, handed me his business card. So they went back, they went there, went through all their trash that they had thrown away till they found the business card. That's what led to his arrest. Now, I think it was because of CC Moore. He knew time was drawing short. He knew he was going to be hit, and he wanted to go out his way. And that's why he did Catholic Supply Store, in knowing that he was going to be hit for it. He knew. Yeah, Judge Fouts, man. Judge Fouts, man. Being hit, man. Sex trafficking and stuff. Man. You know what? I'd like to be his judge, man. So it'd be all like, go ahead, man. Tell me about this sex trafficking you're denying, you know? Because, dude, I'm throwing you into population. I know that sounds a little scary being the judge and shit. You can deal with it. You can deal with it, Mr. Fouts. Yeah, Fouts. That's right, Raider. Yeah, nailed him, man. They got him. They got him good, too, man, if you look into it. Yeah, it is. It will. You're right. So that will be some big news. In fact, oh, hell, I may cover that. I may go over to Delphi, you know, and just get the, get my Sony Handycam and, get Judge Fouts, man, and going into court. See, man, they'll keep him in solitary confinement. They're not going to put him in population. That's the last thing they do with any of their kind. I don't put him in population. Me, I got hit for marijuana. You know where they threw me? In Westville, population. Like, you stinking. That's how I felt about it. Anyway, as many of you may have known, because it's been ongoing ever since I've had a channel, and that goes all the way back to 7 years, man. 7 years, people. 7 years I've had a YouTube channel. And every single year for 7 years, including the one that got deleted from my old channel, Michael Stroop, I always had my dog's birthday on the 4th of July live. Well, I didn't do that this year for a reason. I actually had a cookout, invited some friends over. We came over, we ate a T-bone. I cooked one for Woof, and I got the whole thing on video. So I'm going to get that, and I'm not going to premiere it exactly, but I'm going to put it up so everybody can see it. It was a great time, and he chowed down, and he ate the full on of his T-bone, man. He had a great time, and at the end of it, I was tired, I was hot, I was exhausted, and I just wanted to get it filmed and over with. And really at the end of the day, I mean, at the end of it, man, I was very tired of just trying to get video. And I just wanted to sit the hell down and enjoy some company for a minute. So, but anyway, I got that video coming. I got to get it all edited. But Wolf had a great time. And hang on a minute. Let me go get his birthday card. Yeah, here it is, right here. This is his birthday card. And see, he turned 15 this year. Yeah, but okay. See, and it says, "You're still young." Ish. You see, so yeah. And I got a pile of his teeth, man. When you move the couch, man, you find like a lot of dog teeth. I never knew that before. So anyway, thank you, man. Yeah, you know what, man? Thanks. Love my dog. So, oh yeah, and I even had the Ugandan flag flying. Yeah. So, anywho, let's get back to the case at hand. Delphi. It has been over a year and a half. Let's see, right? 18. It has been over a year and a half now since I came to the conclusion, yes, it is Thomas Jerome Bruce. It absolutely is him. No denying. And there has been no denying from me since then. Everything that I have found corresponded to that it is him. And I got to maintain that. And that is what right now is bothersome, because every week I have to repeat the same thing over and over again. I don't like repeating things. I don't. In fact, man, I really don't like repeating myself. And I knew at that time that, oh shit, man, it's going to be a long time till that they can go in and talk to him. So I got to repeat myself. So I had to come up with different catchy videos to repeat myself with. So I've been repeating myself, but now draws the time because we're not too far from when he goes to court. Now, when he goes to court in Missouri, we're going to learn some things. Firstly, what gun was used to kill Jamie Schmidt is probably, and I want to say that again, probably, most likely, in all probability, the same gun that would have been carried by him in Delphi. So that, that's something that we would at least maybe have a gun, because I knew he had a Glock 43, a Sig Sauer, and a 22 caliber pistol. Now, the I-70 killer used a 22 rifle because it was quiet. He could pop the woman in the back of the head and split without people hearing that and then coming to see what was going on. Now, if you was going to use a weapon just for intimidation, but you might have to use it, right? Would it not be a 22? Now, this kind of stems back because when Daniel Nations was arrested, one of the reasons, aside of threatening people with a hatchet, was he was driving with expired plates. In the trunk was a 22 caliber rifle. Now, in the media articles concerning Daniel Nations, they said that there were similarities between his crimes and the Delphi murders. Okay, well, one, the crimes that he, the felonies that he was hit for out there, man, and I don't even think threatening with a hatchet was a felon. I don't even know where that lies in the whole racket of things. But he had a 22 rifle. Now, the same applies with Thomas Jerome Bruce, with the similarities between, what he had done, So I wonder if he shot her with a 22, if he carried a 22 to be quiet about it so it didn't make a big bang, where people would be, like drawn to the sound of it. Now, if that is one of the things, then it would have to relate that, and I'm not trying to draw a string here or a connection exactly, but what if one of the girls was shot? And again, if I was to take everybody to the spot where the crime happened, you would see what I mean. It's down in a gully, set to the east of where the trail is, but way down in the hill. So that when you're down there, if it was a 22 pistol aimed eastward, up towards somebody, you may not be able to hear it. And if you did, you would think a farmer was just out shooting. It would just, like where I sit right now, man, there's a guy, man, like right across the Wildcat from me, man. It's out there, man, like 50 cal, man, machine gun. Man, this guy's he's got some crazy weaponry. But it makes me wonder if, in fact, one of them was not shot or had not been shot, because it would just maybe make some sense between the similarities that they're drawing. But the media doesn't know of these similarities, They don't. I mean, they can't. Like, the one thing that law enforcement is not going to do is say, oh, by the way, media, this right here is what happened, but don't tell anybody. You see where I'm at? They wouldn't do that. Oh, thanks for loving my bear. Nick. Jane Radar. Open Secrets. Donna. And I'm glad everybody, I am glad everybody made it, man. I really am. But I'm not seeing Incognito. And inside here, I miss her. Come on, Incognito. Oh, yeah. But tonight is Dr. Pepper. I only do that because, like, the local stores ran out of generic, so you have to buy name brand. You know how they do with this year's flu. They name it and then make it sound like it's deadly when it ain't. They close down and go like, food shortages coming because of the Wuhan. Well, yeah, that's because you said everybody at the meatpacking factory had it, right? Didn't see anybody die from it. I was seeing a lady, man. I go to a dollar store. A lady's walking out with a mask on. I'm like, hey, ma'am, Corona is over. We can go back to living now. I couldn't tell if she was like happy with what I said or sad because she had her Sharia mask on, you know, where I couldn't see her face. You know, in fact, I'm going to make a video, man. It's going to have like people, you know, with their mask on. It's going to say Sharia law for one and all. Remember all those memes people put up? Like, I'll never accept Sharia law. Well, unless like we have to because of Corona. I mean, you know, then, yeah, okay. Then I'll cover my face and get a vaccination. I'm a good slave. You know, I'll do what the government fucking tells me. You know, people are idiots, man. People are fucking stupid, man. They tell me I need a mask. I'm like, fuck you. You have to have a mask to come on here. Eat a dick. I don't play along. I am a bad slave. I am a very bad slave. I'm the kind of slave they do not want. That's why they delete my channel. Like, man, that fucker just straight tells people the reality. He don't even watch TV. He knows it's fake. That's me. That's who I am. And you know what? Whoop doesn't watch television either. Oh, shit. Hey, thanks, Donna. Let me kind of highlight that, man. If you got a question, I'll send in some love. $10 worth of love, okay. But I'd like a question, too. You know, it highlights that, man. It gives good reason for it. Oh, hey, allow me to go into this briefly. You know, don't leave just yet. But I wanted to talk about this, man, because this is a real fact. On the 4th of July, after the party, after the cookout, the sun's going down. So I go back to the pool and I'm sitting at the gazebo just looking at stars, man. My friend was sitting down there with me, man, and we're just checking out the stars. Well, the moon came up, man, and it was kind of it was clear moon, clear skies, but it had a little orange to it. And I thought, man, it's a little weird, man, that it would be kind of orange, man. I mean, it's July, you know, this is like the solstice moon, you know. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, the 4th of July full moon like that clear, man, and orange. So I says, man, I'm going to go get my camera. I want to get that on video. Now, my Sony Handycam's got digital zoom on it, which is not the same as optical zoom. But I just thought, man, it looks so magical, man, just so unnatural, just, you know, over the tree line coming up like that. And Mars was like stationed like right above it, man. You know, Mars came up with the moon right behind it. So I went down, man. I got my Sony Handycam, kind of zoomed in on it, could not see the moon super clear. And I apologize for that, but I'm making a point. I'm sitting there looking at that and I just thought, man, that is, I don't know, man. There was just something about that moon, right? So I come in, man, and I start watching a featured channel on my channel, A Texas Cast 3502, I think. And he was talking about the 4th of July lunar eclipse. 4th of July lunar eclipse. Okay, this explains why it might have been red. So I went to go see at what time this eclipse, it was pre-numeral eclipse, not a full eclipse, was to happen. Now, I checked this at, I think it was 10:56 at night, and it started at 11:04, right after the time we had seen it. So I went out because it started, and I thought that's probably one reason why it was red when it was coming up, because it was like, you know, coming onto the shoulder of our shadow. And it was really cool. And I wish I had optical zoom, because that was a moment, man. And it was a special day for Wook to turn 15. And that's 105 to you and me. Yeah, I mean, he outlived Kirk Douglas, George Burns, Dick Van. Well, I don't know. Dick Van Dyke may beat him still, but yeah. Mel Brooks, and that other guy. He's all living him, man. Yeah, yes, it was. It was, man. It really was. So anyway, is there anything that people want me to speak on? I mean, Delphi case, Evansdale, Mary Pryor, and Page. So, like, within that, if you do, throw the question up, man. Just throw it up down there. And if I miss it, if any moderator would be as kind as to maybe copy that and try to get it back up to me if I miss it, be most helpful, because if I'm talking to you and I'm not talking in the camera, you know what, really, man, would it be better if I did it like that, like so? See, now I'm like talking into the camera. See, does it feel better like when I'm looking at you? Like when I'm all like talking to you and stuff. Keith Sharp, give me a question, Keith. I would like a question, because that is why we have the no, it was not a blood moon, Super B Wonder. A blood moon is a full lunar eclipse. It was prenumeral. It was just where it partially covered. Well, yeah, no, you can't see him right now, but you will in the thing. I mean, I could go get him, but believe me, I'd just be holding him. Which trial, Peaches? If you're talking about Fouts, yes. And if you are talking about, from Scotland, really? Yeah. I don't know whether you knew this or not, Alan Robb, but I am the last king of Scotland. I am, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I like Scottish people. Man, you guys are like brave, man, fighters, and I love that, man. Thanks for being here, That I can't tell you, Keith. I really can't. Now, we did ask Sheriff Lesenby if they did look through like all local cameras that like security and so on. He's like, yeah. He goes, I forget how he phrased it. He didn't say we didn't find anything. I mean, he wouldn't like put us into like that kind of knowledge. He's like, I do. Yeah, I have the Scottish king look. Okay, cool, man. All right, man. Maybe it's my Scottish beard, man. Actually German, if you can't tell. Got like blue eyes and all like that. Not that means German exactly, but it sure enough means some blue eyes. No, actually, I was just doing my best Idi Amin impersonation. That's why he told the guy that worked for him when he said he was Scottish, man. He's like, "You're Scottish? Really? Ah, you guys are so brave, man. Did you know I was the last king of Scotland?" Because my DBA is the true king of Uganda. And that's why I had the Ugandan flag flying at Wolf's birthday, for no other reason. Anyway, back to where that I was. And where was I? Man, I forget. If anybody remembers where yes, right, thank you. The surveillance. So we asked him about that, and he's like, well, we have checked like with people's cameras that were like local. Now, he did not tell us about like gas stations or anything like that between there and or anywhere, because I don't feel at the time when we asked him, and that was in July of 2017, of course they didn't know where the guy had came from or if he drove or walked. So they didn't really know what they was looking for, aside of what they found on the videotape from Libby's phone as to what the guy looked like. But they had no idea of his car. Now, me and Miss Cav have been talking for a while concerning this. And we do believe, because on the Indiana State Police radio show, Doug Carter, head of Indiana State Police, said, we have an aerial view of what happened. And I think that he may have phrased that, what happened to the girls that day. Well, I stopped right there and I made mention, because there's really only one way to have an aerial view. You didn't have planes flying over, getting an aerial view. So that would suggest possible satellite. Now, when I talk satellite and their technology there, I think it's more than what we think it is, you know. And I'll put it to you like this. If you go to Google and you put in your hometown or wherever you live, and you put that into that and you pull it up on it, when you click in and get right down to the highest, you know, that you can get, everything becomes pixelated. Very peculiar, because you go back so many years ago, and I'll go back 5 years ago, you could zoom right in on the property where I sit and tell each person's car. Okay. Today, when you zoom in like that, they're very pixelated. I say very pixelated. They're pixelated enough to where you cannot see, oh, hey, that's Jim out in the yard. You see where I'm at? Now, kind of odd that they would do that on Google Maps. I mean, it used to not be that way. Then it became that way. Kind of like they purposely pixelated it. And it makes me wonder. Because what they first released from the video was images that were pixelated, because they were still images taken from video. So we had asked Sheriff Lesenby, well, why don't you release the video, which would be clearer, and take the audio out so we can see a step and a half? Well, we might do that. If this does not bring us the person that we want in due time, we may do that. And they did 2 years and 2 months later. Now, as curiosity goes, that video was pixelated. The same as what the images were. The same as Google Maps became. Now, I can take an identical phone that Libby had, identical to every degree, and I can stand all the way to the very south side, man, and back up a piece from the bridge. And get somebody walking across the bridge. And you know what? Like, long before he got to the area where he was away from them, you would know exactly who it was if you knew who that person was. Now, I am suggesting that because they knew at the briefing who had did it, that they purposely pixelated that video. Purposely. Same as Google Maps, purposely pixelated it, so that you would not know it from anything that was the images. Now, they knew he wasn't walking in his normal stance, because he's on a bridge where you got to watch your footing. So it wasn't his walk that they were after. Okay? They weren't after that walk. So why did they pixelate it? You know, why? So that you won't know who the hell it is until they take him to court. That's why. And that's what I'm here doing. I'm the man that's taking his chances on getting grassy knolled. Why? Because I want people to know the truth. I don't like television. I don't like seeing people get programmed. I don't like people saying, well, corona might be the flu, but it's a really bad flu. No, it ain't. It's just the flu. You know who it kills? Old people with lowered immune systems. Well, so-and-so died of corona. Sure it wasn't the flu? And they always get this look like, well, it could have been, because it is. It's just this year's flu. No different than last year's flu. No different than the flu the year before that. You get the flu, it sucks. Life goes on. If you're old and have a lowered immune system, survey says you may die from the flu. You know who's dying from corona? People with lowered immune systems and old people with lowered immune systems. It's just the flu. And if they come at me with the needle, they're not going to put it in me, because I will sue their And that's what I'll do. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Peaches, because that's true. That's exactly what they do. If you have the flu, you have COVID-19. That it's a fact. If you got the flu bug, just this year's flu, you're going to test positive for COVID-19. Why? Because they named this year's mutation COVID-19. That's why. Then they make a big deal on it. You fucking Trump's on there, man. And Trump, I'm going to call it what it really is. The plague. The Chinese virus. Call it what it really is. The goddamn flu, dude. And all this shutting shit down and, oh, we can't do that because you might transfer COVID. States are saying you got to wear a mask. I got one for the states. Fuck you. Fuck every goddamn one of you states. Fucking corporatized motherfuckers eat a dick. Man, I should really just calm down. Sometimes I get myself started, though. Yeah, I mean, you know, after the loss, man, you know what? Let me tell you about me and my computer, my old computer. Man, we was out kicking it, man. We was down at the run, man. We was having a good time. We was just reminiscing about the days of old, you know. It just fell over, man. You know, and I'm all like, oh shit, you know. So I'm like telling people, man, get a resuscitator, man. Get me 5 like cc's of Ringer's lactate now, you know. And I'm trying to bring it back. Come on, man, bear with me, PC. You know, I mean, after that though, man, you know, I just got a little bitter, man. Just got a little bitter over it. Take you, Sterling. I hope it all came out clear. I hope it all came out right, man. Yep. And you know what? This is a true fact. My friend lives down the street. Name's Mark, oldest friend I got, actually related. I don't know how to better put that. His stepmom and my stepmom are sisters. We grew up together, best friends. And didn't even find that out until we was about 21 years old. And I'm like, wait, what? You know my dad? Oh, yeah, it's Barb. He married Barb's sister. Well, I knew his stepmom, Barb, man, ever since, you know, we met when we was in 3rd grade. Like, really? You met my dad? Yeah. Yeah, of course. I met him. I've never seen my dad. Get out. True story. But anyway, he lives like right up the street here, man. And, where the hell was I going with that? Oh, yeah, right. He reads a perspective every week, man. When we get the perspective out of Kokomo, he goes, out of all these people that are in Kokomo and died of COVID, I have not seen one person where it listed the death because of COVID complications. Not one. I'm like, yeah, I believe that, because how many months have I been on it? COVID's complete bullshit. It's a big fucking lie. And anytime they get you to do something like cover your face, they're laughing at your ass. They're laughing at you. I say, you know what? Give me COVID. I already had the flu. Later. No, I don't need a vaccination, dude. Already had the flu. In fact, I had it last year, you know. So, yeah. Well, I may or may not, and I'm sorry because, you know, I don't want to actually be cussing. But again, man, I go back to 2013, 2014, man, I made like 5,000, man, and I upgraded my channel. I bought a new computer. I bought this microphone. I bought the keyboard, man. I bought the mixer board. I bought the lights. I bought the green screen. I bought the editing. Everything that I had, man, came from that money. And now that they no longer pay, man, it just... Now, today, as it goes, because of human rights and shit that they violate frequently, you know, it's just like, you know, YouTube put out, well, because of COVID, we don't have the people on standby to watch videos. So monetization through this pandemic will be, you know, we won't be paying anything. Bullshit! You got a goddamn computer doing it, you fucking idiots! You lying bastards! Man, mother. Man, don't lie to me. There's got to be some kind of, hey, Jerry, man, what's going on, Jerry Rock? Yeah, you know what? It probably does better than that. In fact, I would say that quinine, the straight quinine, man. If you got the flu or a virus like that, man, take quinine, because I think that was a very well hidden secret that quinine is exactly what you use for the flu. And this right here brings it out. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, don't do that, man. That might, I got one for you, man, Governor of Michigan. Right, right. All right. So, anyways, where was I? And where was I back to? It had something to do with security, I do believe. Yeah, tonic water, Schweppes has the highest amount of quinine in it, as tonic water goes. You know what, Lisa? I wish that there was, because if there was something new, I would not be repeating myself. But I am repeating myself, and I repeat myself weekly. But the time draws nigh. And as it draws nigh, we will know a lot of things. Now, when he does go to court in Missouri, I will be following everything on that case. Every last detail of that case, everything brought forward in that case, for and against, I will know. And I will make my connections then from what happened at the Catholic supply store to the other murders, because they all follow a similar pattern. And you know what? Chris G, and I have not seen him pop up yet, but he sent me an email. And in the email, he sent a link. And I thought, okay, so I clicked on the link, and it was talking about 2 rape and murders that happened. I believe it was in Wyoming. Now, law enforcement had looked at both of these murders. Both of the girls were unknown, but were hitchhiking. Okay. And one of them was sodomized and strangled. Now, that reminisced towards something that I know concerning one of Thomas Bruce's cases. But the other one had no sexual assault. So I wrote him back and I said, well, the one looks like a crime that he would commit. I said, but not the other without the sexual assault. So, I was looking at that because going back months ago now, me and Miss Cav was looking at the possibility that for a time when he got out of the Navy in the early part of the, or actually like mid 90s, that he may have lived in Nebraska for a short bit of time before moving to Flint, Michigan. So I told him, I says, it does look like the one looks kind of like his, and they have DNA. But that's kind of where it ended. But then he wrote me back, after I wrote all that, and he's like, oh no, they found who did it. And I'm like, okay, well, I went and looked into it. Sure enough, man, they made that connection through DNA on this guy and got him for both of them. Now, I don't know, and I forget the guy's name. I mean, I didn't really look that much further into it. But I hope that they found out, who the girls were. Where he picked them up, man, their name or something like that. Because both girls were, neither one was known by law enforcement as to who they were. And I have not seen Chris G, nor have I seen Incognito. You know what? I should call Incognito Society. I just should. I should be like, yo, Incog, man, ain't you here? She said she was going to call me. She got a hold of me yesterday, asked me about my PC. I said, it's fine, man. Should be good to go on the 11th. And she goes, all right, great. I'll call you tomorrow. Never called yet. So I was hoping that she would be here. If anybody sees Chris G, tell him I'll dedicate the show to him. I asked him, man, I said, you want a shout out, man? He said, man, dude, they already got these people. They already got the guy. Well, yeah, but still, man, pretty good information. I mean, I was ready to say it was at least conceivable, but I would never come out and say, yes, this guy did this crime. I mean, not without a balance of like his MO, the way that he does things, usually seeking an opportunity and then takes it. But a hitchhiker, yeah, Because you know what, that does kind of like Katie, how's Anthony? You know what, he's still in jail. May get out next month. At least that's what I heard. At least that's what I heard. I have not heard that from him, but I'm keeping my eyes on to see if he is released. Because when he is released, I need to speak to him. Yeah, you know what? I have not followed that case, Sterling. I really haven't. Really have not. On a link with Evansdale? Yeah, no, the total link. Thomas Jerome Bruce is the suspect in Evansdale, same as Delphi. Same exact, identical crimes, Alan. Complete identical. Both off the side of a highway, both you take an exit, both are hiked, but not heavily. It offers opportunity. In both cases, 2 girls were abducted. In both cases, 2 girls died. In both cases, the guy got away. They were identical on reverse dates. The odds of that are 1 in 100, and that's why I say, yes, the same suspect that did Evansdale also did Delphi. Yeah, well, you know what? I hope they get it, but really, I don't know who runs that Facebook page. But if it is Ford Greeno, I hope that he gets that money. You know what? I wonder the same, and I would like to. I mean, I would like to be down there, but the thing is I could probably learn as much as what was done. I believe, because they will probably be covering that, especially out of St. Louis. And you know, I would like to at least know, shit, man, if I was sitting right in the courtroom, man, that would be outstanding. That would be outstanding. Then I wouldn't miss a damn thing. And then I could also say, like, you know, hey, Teebs, it's me, Mr. Katt. You probably remember me from my channel, Michael Stroop. I don't know. Oh, do you? Okay. If you don't mind, if you could send me a link to that, I will throw it up in the chat right here. And that would be funds for helping out Greeno. Thank you very much, Radar. You rock. Yeah, Jerry, I believe. Now, this is based on kind of what I looked into. And this is one thing that does, because the serial killer that I'm looking at is a sadist serial killer. And that is what he enjoys that reaction, you know, the reaction when he does something like that, you know, the look on the people's face, man, that see it and go like, you know, that is his enjoyment, is the brutality. So when you look up, like, when that starts in a person's life, when you look at other sadistic serial killers, it begins in like early childhood. So I think that this was something that was always stirring inside of him to do. And I think the first one was done at the first available instance when he thought he could get away with it. Now that may take that back to Michigan in his late teens. Then again, it could go to California, depending on whether he was stationed there immediately or if he was on a boat at that time. But he was stationed in damn it, help me out, Escondido, right outside of San Diego, for quite a few years. And he also had a divorce through that time. And I think at the time of his divorce in the early 90s, that would have been a time when he was like less in power. And that's when that they want that reaction. That's when they seek that power. You know, so I think that, yeah, it really goes back. And again, I think we're scratching the surface with the, you see, that would be 6 people. That's not including Jamie Schmidt or Susan Collins. But if he was at that base at the time of Susan Collins' rape and murder, I would put him as a very high person of interest, extremely high. But I think that his crimes go back to California, Michigan, Missouri, of course, Iowa, Indiana, and maybe about any place that he could have traveled that offered like small hiking trails, places of opportunity. And, you know, it's like when you see the crime or read about the crime and you can kind of place him there, then it adds something to it, like a possibility of. But I mean, like Mary Pryor and Ann Pates right there in Lennon, Michigan, and Montrose, Michigan, little spots in the road, like the size of Burlington. A brutal rape and murder, both with DNA, both with fingerprints, no one to point a finger to, says that person never committed a crime. And I know that at that time he was living in Flint. And I know that at 2 o'clock in the morning when the bars closed, that's when, you know, if somebody was broke down on the highway, he would have picked them up. I mean, that it just makes good sense. Now, I brought that up to Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson, that in both they had fingerprints and DNA. Now, in the one, Mary Pryor, I know she was strangled. In Ann Pates, I know that her neck was slit. So, again, man, it really does kind of show the brutality of this man. I mean, he's not, I don't know how better to put it, man. He's brutal. He likes the reaction. He's sadistic, man. He is everything that he says he is or shows himself to be. He's quite the opposite deep down. Yes, they do, Keith. They do have the death penalty in Missouri. Now, the prosecutor that was in when he got arrested for the Catholic supply store said that he would have been seeking the death penalty. He said, but the prosecutor that's taken over for me, I don't think that he will, meaning that he's a Democrat, left to FLT, you know, a slave owner, so to speak, you know, and that he's like, well, we don't want to put them to death. That makes us no different than them, you know, kind of guy. Whereas I'm like, give me the gun and let me fucking shoot him in his head. After torture, we'll drop him off the bridge with like a noose attached, man. You know, but it has to be a white guy, otherwise it's a hate crime. You know, you can't drop somebody off that's another race, man. Oh my God, they'd hit you with the hate crime. They would make that national news, man. Democrats, man, Democrats. You know, your owners. Pow! Wear your mask. Those kind of people. The evil that lies with them. They have no idea they're all left, like, you know, communists, man. They have no fucking clue, man. They just go with the flow. They go with what the TV tells them to do. Yeah, they were actually, the bodies were found 25 miles to the northeast of Evansdale, 25 miles away at Seven Bridges Park, by a creek. That's something that I left out earlier. And both sets, both girls, after abduction, after murder, were found by a creek, you know, on a reverse date. And again, man, when you put 2 and 2 together, I know I come up with 4. You see where I'm at? And it led me to think, you know, this whole time, because right off the bat, man, in Delphi, I was always thinking, like, why was the FBI there, man? Like the following day when they're still looking for the girls at the creek, why was the FBI there? Why? There wasn't even an Amber Alert. They don't even know the girls were taken. Why was the FBI there? Until I found that he drove. When I found out that the suspect drove there, I said, Evansdale. Now, I'd already made a live video with Greeno. him and I were talking about the similarities between Evansdale and Delphi. I said there are really big similarities, but I have no way to connect, like whoever did that. I mean, this is pre-Thomas Bruce. I said I have no way to connect this one to that one outside of the similarities. So I stood on law enforcement's side when they said, yes, there are similarities, but we don't know that it to be the same guy. And that's where I stood. I said, yeah, there's similarities, but man, that's a distance. I mean, you know, until I found out he drove. When I found out he drove, that's when I went back and looked at everything at Evansdale. That's when everything that I found on Delphi, I was comparing back to Evansdale. Before, you know, 1 month prior to Evansdale, when the murders happened, he lost a job at Schnucks Grocer that he had had for over 5 years. Now, before Delphi, 1 month prior to Delphi, he filed bankruptcy and resigned from his job. In both cases, he was unemployed. He had never broken the law before. He was dressed like Bridge Guy. He looked like the sketch. He had never broken the law. That's when it all started fitting, man. That's when everything started coming together. And once I found the route, and again, I want to be clear on this, because in one I said that he was either en route to his brother's house in Fort Wayne, and I don't think that that's his brother now. I mean, I have looked at that because he does have a brother that I know lives in Michigan. Now, he has a relative with the last name, same last name as his brother that lives in Fort Wayne. I said he may have been going there or coming back from. Then Greeno says, well, his old lady said they had a dinner date on the night of the 13th, some years ago. And I'm like, well, that's a damn good memory that lady has. I'll tell you that right now. But it also sounds like something the FBI would have her say. So then I looked at it and I said, okay, if he got up with her in the morning, right, when she's heading to work, headed to Delphi, waited to commit the crime, and then get back home, losing an hour back off of his clock, arriving by 6, what would stop him from going out? Nothing. Nothing. It was a dinner date, man. She wouldn't even get off till 5. Ride home. I'm picking you up something. God only knows, man. I mean, but I'm telling you right now, he was in Delphi. People say, well, how do you know he was in Delphi? Because I got the video. I got video of him, like walking on the bridge. Didn't you see it? Everybody in the world seen that video. That's Thomas Bruce, people. That voice, guys down the hill, yeah. Thomas Bruce. I don't know how to go beyond that. Oh, yeah, 84 people watching. 84 people watching, man. Do I have over 50 thumbs up? Do I? Just be honest, man. Just be honest with me. Do I at least have that many? I'll go give myself a thumbs up. I'll do it. Think I won't? I do it all the time. Yeah, exactly, Super B. You know what? Oh, yep, 54. And you know what, man? Yeah, you guys, man. It's you. 58. Look at me, man. Look at me. I say I'm in bliss, man. I'm in bliss. And I'm happy, man. I'm happy all of you are here. 62. Can't I get a couple from my little bear? You know, my what? Didn't he get a couple? You know, didn't anybody like care about my bear, man? Thank you guys, man. Thanks for letting me know that. Where was I again? See, man, just as soon as I get onto something, man, I get sidetracked. Yeah, well, you know what? I am on your side, John. And that is why I do not watch other YouTube channels on Delphi. Now, I do watch Incognito, but that is not what all she covers. It's not just Delphi. And she don't really state a whole lot of theory. In fact, she really gets her subscribers into that, you know, by asking them questions. And I respect that. I really do. I think she runs a great channel. But I tell people it's just like Greeno. You know, Greeno's got a channel, and he mainly talks about Delphi. Well, I don't go watch his channel. I don't watch Greeno's channel for that reason. I don't go watch Gray Hughes. I don't go watch Mrs. Wonderful. I don't watch the minivan guy. I don't watch anything on it because I don't want my mind to be clouded with other people's thoughts. I keep my mind very clear on this, and I keep to what it is that I can look up, what it is I can know. I research, I call people, I interview, and I get the real lowdown, because if I don't know it or cannot theorize it in such a way as people say, that makes good sense, dude, you know, then why go on? You know, why sit and repeat myself for a year and a half? Thanks, Keith. I'm going to highlight that bit for you. Thank you very much, man. And if you have a question, Keith, throw it up there. But, hang on. Let me kind of do it like so. Is it going up? There it is. That's my PayPal. And that one slightly preferred, but I mean, I know people, you know, not everybody's got like a PayPal account, but you know, if you go there, you can use credit card. And you know what? Another featured channel on my channel is Rob Ryder, who is Robert Allen Retluski. Yeah. And, you know, when he asks, like when he's asking for donations, he's like, if you'd help keep the lights on, maybe some food in my refrigerator. It takes a lot of time to look this up. You know, and I called him, man, because he puts his telephone up there and he gives his address and he goes, or there she is. Bam. There's Miss Incognito, right on time, an hour late. But, you know, he throws his address up and he's going, or if you can't do it like that, you can send check or money out of order to Robert Allen Bratluski, and gives his whole address. I'm like, wow, man. You know, and I'm like, yeah, my landlord would be like, dude, don't do that, man. You know what could happen? Yeah, somebody might send money. I don't know what, man. Shit. All right. Hey. One more time for anybody who may have missed it, I will be on Incognito Society's channel this Saturday at, is it 9 p.m.? 9 p.m.? On the 11th at 9 p.m., I believe. Just let me know if that's right or not. Well, thank you very much, Lisa. And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everyone being here. You know what? Oh, hang on. Let me run these. Yep, at 9 p.m., everybody. On the 11th, I will be on Incognito's channel. We will be discussing Daniel Nations to the nth degree. You know what? There was only one cell phone, and nobody, you know, if you heard that they were both turned off at around 5:30, that is like 2.5 hours after the suspect left. Just so you know, you got a lot of listeners up north here, man. Thanks for doing what you do. It takes balls. Thank you very much, Phil. And when you say up north, are you speaking like Canada, Michigan, or, you know? I love Canada, man. Canada's cool. Wish you guys would get rid of the government thing. I mean, but hell, I wish we'd get rid of like our corporate government too. You know, just wash our hands of it and go, yeah, you know what? Common law, man. Go screw yourself. Canada. Yes. All right, man. Vancouver, BC, Canada. Right on, man. Right on. Man, I love the way you guys talk. I do, man. I think you guys got like one of the coolest accents out there, man. I really do. And as you see in Indiana, we don't have an accent. We don't. You know, we just don't. Thank you very much, Radar. And Woof, hey, you know what, man? You got a bunch of people that like really love you and stuff, man. Like, okay, he's excited about the birthday video, and believe me, when I'm done with it, it's gonna look very royal, man, very royal for him because it's his 15th birthday, and believe me, man, nobody deserves a T-bone on their 15th. You know what, man? I told the guy at the meat locker, man, just right up the road from me, man, that I was buying these T-bones and that I was buying one for my dog. Now, when I told him that I buy the pork chops and that my dog really loves them, he's like, "You feed your dog pork chops?" I'm like, "No, man, I just give him a couple last bites, of mine." He's like, "Oh." So then he says, "You're going to feed your dog a T-bone steak?" Dude, he's 15. I don't know how to best put that. Look, man, when I turn 105, if somebody don't buy me a damn T-bone, I'm going to be pissed. Real pissed. So much so, man, I'll get my old ass out of bed and like come and take your dogs and shit. I will, man. That's how I play. Michigan. Hey, we're at Michigan, if you don't mind. I got a cabin on the UP, man, just about 15 miles north of St. Ignace up there. Caved in by now, I'm sure. Ain't been up there in ages. We have twang. Oh, I mean, I did have people there. We had a cookout, man. I mean, I cooked all the steaks, man, and it was a good time. I just was tired, man. I got up early to get everything set up, and at the end of filming that, I was very out of it, man. I really was. I was just like, you know what, man? It feels like it is 180 degrees out here. I am burnt, tired, exhausted, and I just want to sit down and talk for a while. I do baby my bear. I baby the hell out of it. England, North England. You know what, man? My brother, Brian, was born in England at Lakenheath Air Force Base. So it makes me wonder, if he was knighted, would they have to call him sir? And could he still become president? Questions unanswered. Questions unanswered. I'd never call him Sir Brian. I'd be that dude, man. I'd be that dude to be like, "Hey, what up, Brian? Crying Brian, what up, dude?" It was, man. We had a great time. I can't mention the people that work here. In fact, one of them said, "No, it's fine to put me in video," but I was careful not to put them into like the shots of Woofy and stuff like that. And really wanted a red carpet, Why do I make such a big deal about my dog? Because I don't have a son. But applications are coming out soon. If you are ready to have a baby, you've always wanted your son or daughter to be like a crown prince or a princess. Reach me, send pictures, that kind of thing. If you're Jewish, survey says you probably won already, But yeah, man, we can hook that up, man. We'll just rent like a motel room, man. I'll make it quick. As quick as possible. I mean, kind of up there. If it takes all night, I'll buy you a bottle of wine. And if you're Jewish, I'll buy you a fucking case of wine because we're going to be there a long time, bro. Long time. Enough that we'll have like a bunch of kids, all in one shot. Yes. Well, to a degree. I mean, you got to understand that they're minors, and there are some things that they don't want out publicly known, rightfully. And I don't say that like they're trying to withhold it from us, because that will come out at court, but it may be behind closed doors, no media, that kind of thing. They're not going to publicly announce how it all happened, but it will come out in the course of time as to what transpired. So I don't really have an interest in how the girls died. We know they died. We know they died at the hands of a murderer, and that is the part that bothers me, because I do not want to live in a world where people like that exist, and I'll be damned if they don't. They do, and we have them here in Indiana, John D. Miller, and I'm sure that he's not alone by any means. Thomas Bruce. I mean, those people are out there, and that is, and look, man, person that lived right down the street from me here, man, for just over 7 years, they had a daughter that was their age. And look, I live a mile off the road. I live way back in like a resort camp, so to speak. It is a square mile to do whatever you want with a river, creek, run in it, hills, woods. It's everything. And she would just rarely let her daughter leave the house unless it was in the backyard right where she could keep an eye to her. I'm like, my God, man, she's like 13. She's like, well, there's strange people out there. I'm like, not here. Well, somebody could show up and do what? Like walk through your yard? I mean, like, and I always thought that was kind of crazy. Now, when I found out what happened, in Delphi. Oh, hang on. I got other questions here. No, actually, it's 165, Ryan, because he bought that other property. Let me see. Do you think any additional audio or video will ever become public in time? No. Because they already know who did it. They don't need anything released, to involve the public's help. They already know who did it. And they're not going to release anything that points further to him until at which time they file charges. That's my belief on that. So anyway, yeah, and when that happened, when I seen the crime had happened, and what took place, as far as the girls being abducted and then found the following day, because it was the night of the 14th when I seen that on Fox News. I was online when I go to Fox News, because at that time that was what I was doing on my channel. I'd look at the world headlines and tell people, yes, this is what they're telling you is going on. These are the reasons why this is going on, and this is going to go on for this reason here, which royally screws you. That was the basis of my channel beforehand. So when I seen that and seen that it was in Indiana by a creek, I thought, okay, probably southern Indiana. I mean, like what creek up north, right? So I'm thinking like southern Indiana. Then I seen Deer Creek, and I thought, holy crap, man, my brother lives right up the highway at Deer Creek. So then I looked into it, and it's saying Delphi, and I'm like, Monon Trail, man, Delphi, what? Man, Monon Trail's down by Indianapolis, right? So when I started looking at it and I seen the names, I thought Liberty. I thought, oh crap, man. Hey, her daughter, that lives down the road there, man, her friend's named Liberty, man. I should go see that everything's okay. And went down and told him what had happened and asked about Liberty. She's like, oh yeah, she's fine. She called a little while ago. I'm like, okay, different Liberty. But it was kind of hard, man. I mean, because I had to go down there and say, hey, man, that shit really did happen right over in Delphi, and we had heard no news of it. None. It was not on the news. It was no Amber Alert. We didn't know about it when they became missing. We're in a connecting county. I could literally take a 5-minute walk and be in Carroll County right now. 5 minutes walk time. So we didn't even know 2 girls were missing. We didn't know the following day that they were murdered. It did not hit the news like that. Now, that night, and it was probably at about 11:45 p.m. when I seen that, and I went down and told them after I had kind of looked into it, and I'm like, yeah, it was right over there, man, like right outside the Delphi. They're like, wow, crazy. So anyway, man, I mean, that's that. And I had to be like, well, you know, okay, man, maybe crazy shit does go on. But again, it didn't happen on our property. You know, I remember that. God would have killed him. Would have killed the sorry bastard. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you get a delivery to here from Burlington, which is like 2 miles away, they're like, man, I didn't even know this place was here, man. Holy shit, you guys live in paradise, don't you? Yes, we do. And do not tell others. Yeah, we know who you are, delivery guy. You know, I think that probably runs more rumor because nobody knows. I mean, look, if they block that out there, you have no idea. You have no idea. I mean, I'm not saying you. I know. I realize you're asking, but you know, we have no idea. And if you're asking if they said that, how would I know? How would I know, man? I mean, if law enforcement never said it or nobody, you know, there is no way to know. But again, I don't really concern myself with what happened at the crime scene. I have reason to believe what may have occurred at the crime scene. But why would I want to talk about that? I mean, look, man, these are families that are local. They don't want to hear about people's speculation on what may have happened. I don't want to go there. I don't want to talk about that because that is what bothers me. That someone out there stopped at Delphi, Indiana, a little bitty town from whereabouts my family lives, and committed those actions. And I don't want to, again, I don't want people like that in my world, but when they are in my world, I want them taken out of my world. I don't want them sharing my oxygen. I don't want them, like, you know, using the resources that I use. I don't want them touching shit. I don't want them breathing. I don't want them to have a pulse. I want them to scream. I want them to cry. And I want them to do it until they die and then are resuscitated to keep reliving the torture. That's what should occur to evil fuckers like that. That is me. That is my freedom of speech to say that. I have a human right to freedom of speech, and I will say as I please. And if law enforcement don't like it, then they can reach me and say, hey, dude, don't say that. And I'd be like, all right, I won't. Because I do not want to interfere into their investigation, you see. I do not want anything coming back going like, oh, but then he said, nah, you could have told me not to. And they have yet to. And we have spoken with them. And they have never said, don't say anything. So until at which time they say, don't say anything, I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep telling people exactly how shit goes down. Yeah, that's right, Radar. Your breathing has become an issue, sir. Well, okay, but, you know, I do want to point out, I mean, my editing has went up in scope recent, man. It really has. And that's because I go, man, I forgot to be, okay. All right, another one that's going on my featured channels will be Power Director University. That dude, Malik, let me tell you, man, when I wake up on Saturday, first thing I do, man, when I go on there, first thing on my screen that pops up on YouTube is Power Director University, because every Saturday he gives a tip, man, on like some editing skills on Power Director. I love that, man. I bought Power Director 365, and I can do anything that he puts on there, and I've really been working on my editing. and it has went up dramatically over the last 4 to 5 months. Am I for hire? Yes, I am. I am for hire. That's why I have Michael Leroy Stroop, LLC, because I am for hire. Yes, it is, Phil. Yes, and I do believe that that has been the case since probably November. I'll say November, very early December. I believe that after the 22nd of November of 2018, law enforcement in Delphi, Indiana, had very good knowledge that it was him. They got the lowdown. I believe that while it was not put in the media, I'm sure that when they fingerprinted Thomas Jerome Bruce, that it also came back as the latent print that was added in for a match. That was the first time he had ever been arrested. So I believe that that kind of led down that direction. And they knew. They sent photos. They went to the two people that seen the guy there that day. Says, hey, you know, out of all these pictures, can you point to one that looks like the guy you've seen there? When both of them pointed to the same one, what'd they do? It's like Sheriff Lesenby said. And I tried to find that, and I couldn't. I could not. And I know this is going to sound a little weird, but Radar, not this Radar, but another channel called Radar had put that up. Now, I seen it, but when I went back to find it, I could not. And I think that they took that down. But in that interview, which was, I think, in January, possibly February, but probably January of 2019, Sheriff Lesenby said that they sent their suspect DNA off to Quantico FBI headquarters in Quantico before Christmas of 2018. That is that is about 1 month after the time he was arrested. The FBI got his DNA, gone from the web, all of it, gone from the web. They removed every bit of the fact that the FBI showed up down there and got his DNA. Why would they do that? Why would the FBI want that taken down? Gee, I don't know, man. Maybe people might start drawing connections, man, making lines, saying, hey, Thomas Bruce fits, don't he? He does, doesn't he? He is that guy, huh? That's what would happen. They don't want that. And if you're listening to me right now, at least you're hearing some truth on it. Because I'm the only one out there, I believe, saying it exactly like so. Yet there are other people that are keeping themselves very well hidden. Well, we know that they have DNA. They said they had DNA. Now, if it's unreliable DNA and we can just wash that away, okay, they have no DNA. Now, fingerprints. Well, it looks suggestive of a latent print. Okay, let's just say you don't even have fingerprints. But what they do have is voice. They have video. They have two people that seen him. And now they have the way that he was dressed. They have his actions. And they have the guy's photograph. Now, if they can go to the two people that did see him, and I know that there is at least two people that I can point to and say, these two seen him, then they would have two people that could identify him via picture. Yes, that is the guy I saw. Now, with Thomas Jerome Bruce, let me think about that. Yes, every crime that I can connect him to had a sexual component. Every single one. Well, no, wait a minute. I can't say that. I can't really say that. Because Evansdale and Delphi, we are in the unknown of. But every other one that I can point to and say, yes, he did this, had a sexual component to it. And it was very brutal. So, yeah. That would be something, I mean, you know, and I think that both of them stemmed out of that. I mean, like law enforcement even said the brutal nature of the crime. And speaking of Delphi, so we do know that it was a brutal crime, and that is his calling card, the brutality. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Thanks for being here, buddy. Thanks for being here, pal. Hang on a second. And I hope he read my lips. But yes, if that was the case, Jimmy, and they did not have DNA, DNA is relatively new when you're looking at murders. Yeah, you know, people say like DNA is that, like, oh, they got him, they got DNA. Look, man, for thousands of years, people were tried and convicted of murders that they had done with no DNA. Up until 120 years ago, they really didn't even use fingerprints because they had to go by the material that they was given and who was there. You know, DNA is new technology. Now, I'm not saying it's not good technology, but the simple fact is with DNA, you got to take an expert's opinion on this. Well, I'm an expert on DNA. Well, okay, we don't know anything about DNA, so we're going to take your word for it that it's him. Sounds good to me, because survey says 1 in 6 billion people that it's him. Sounds good to me. Let's convict him. You see where I'm at? And that's why I don't hand out my DNA. Well, we're going to need a sample of your DNA. Got one for you. That's how you do it. That's how you do that, man. Because if they got your DNA, they can put your DNA wherever they want. They can multiply your DNA. They can take your DNA sample, multiply that DNA, spread it on the crime scene, call an expert. Yeah, it's his DNA. You're going to die. We're sending you to prison for murder. Wait, I didn't do it. Your DNA was there, pal. Now what? Sounds like a frame to me. Sounds like a fucking frame. Ain't nobody getting my DNA. Ain't nobody doing that shit. Because it's my DNA, thus saith the security agreement on my UCC. I own my DNA, my RNA, my mitochondrial DNA, I own my blood, I own my retina scan, I own my fingerprints, and a damn thing on me that I am not owner in due course thereof. Take that shit. Oh. Well, I did not see him retort incognito. I did not see a retort from Mr. Kelly, who is our center for the Indianapolis Colts. I want everybody to know that. Yeah, I like CC. I think what CC is doing is good, but I do have. There are some areas within that I kind of don't agree to at least to a degree. If they're using familial DNA out of a genetic database, okay, those people didn't sign on to have their DNA put into anything legal. They did that. That wasn't the lowdown of it at all. And people say, well, they're not using theirs. Well, yeah, they are, because they're finding the family line. You see, now what if his DNA was in there? What if he had put his DNA into that database? Well, then we'd know who did it. Well, yes, but then that opens it up that everyone, every single person, whoever put their DNA somewhere, now it becomes in a legal database. Well, wait a minute, man, I own my DNA. If I give somebody my DNA, I'm not signing no contract that they're going to do anything with it. I'm not giving my DNA out. That's just the lowdown. If they want to come get my DNA and do it and make it all like that, fair enough, man, if you're really going to frame my ass. But let's be honest, man. I mean, on the outside right here, and I am not trying to be braggadocio in any way. I am not a narcissist. Right? Well, okay, Wolf says I'm a narcissist, but I mean, was he know? I mean, seriously, you know, they're not getting my DNA. I don't go out and I rarely leave the property. Yes, exactly. And you are right. You're exactly right. Now, if I throw something away, but this is the lowdown. This is the real lowdown of that. I believe. And you can quote me, but don't. If I throw my DNA away and it's in the garbage, then they can say, well, you threw that away, so we had access to test it. Well, that is true. And it is true. However, I own my DNA. So whether I threw it away or not, I am still an ownership of that. Now, if they wanted my DNA, because that's what the inspector said when I told him, hang on, because I really got to mute for this, but I hope you can read my lips, everyone. But I told him when he said, well, they may want your DNA anyways. So I told him, well, they can come and get my DNA. But if they find a judge that's going to sign on for a warrant for my DNA, hell, that they was going to get my fucking DNA. Oh, shit. Well, see, didn't mute. Well, there goes any money that I may have made from YouTube. So if you would like to help Mr. King Cat out, that narcissistic asshole who's making videos to tell everybody what the hell's going on, you can do it right down at that link right there that goes to my PayPal. And if you send money to my PayPal, you will get a letter from me personally. I'll have Wolf sign on if that's what you want. I mean, I'll sign for him. I mean, I have that legal obligation where I can sign his name to it, but I'll send you things because I had to go through $200 and some dollars. Actually, man, well, really, I mean, man, when I had the whole expense out, it was quite substantial money just to get my thing back. And believe me, I'm not a praying man, but I certainly laid some prayer down, man, that my hard drive would still be there. I was like, Heavenly Father, man, there's one favor. I mean, despite the computer, if my hard drive's still alive, please make it be there. That way I don't lose everything over 3.5 years. Please. Because every time that I had ever went out there to Monon Trail, at Monon High Bridge Trail, every single time, all the photos, all the video, everything that I had is on this hard drive. And if that was gone, man, shit. Holy mother of humps, man, I would have been pissed. Probably would have broke down, man. Might have got video of me crying or something. It would have been a hard time. Me and Wolf would have been just crying, Arm and Paul, it'd be like, he would have been like, it's okay, dude, it's all right. We'd be like, no, it ain't either, dude. You didn't spend 3.5. Well, no, actually, that would be like 22.5 years, for him, I mean, like human to dog years. So, yeah, I prayed, man. I prayed. I laid down some prayer. Man, we are pushing the 8 o'clock hour. You know, there was a time I go back, and this is on my old channel. This is pre-Delphi. And there was a channel that I was listening to, which oddly enough, and I swear this to you, was called Truth Cat Radio. Well, they needed people to go have a show on there. They said, if you would like to be on the radio and you have an idea for a show, please reach us. So I called, man, talked to the producer, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I got a YouTube channel. Okay, man, dude, I'll look it over. He got back a hold of me. He says, okay, Tuesday nights at 9 p.m., you got a 2-hour show. Hell yeah. All week long, I had to think of a subject matter to speak on. Then I had to sit there on the air, man, and just talk for 2 hours straight. 2 hours, man, just talking. I'm like, oh, wow, 79 thumbs up and 81 watching. I need 2 thumbs up, man. One for me, one for Woof. And one for Incognito, too, man, because she's out there working her butt off, man. So's Miss Cab, man. So's Miss Cab. Thumbs up, man. It helps with the algorithm. It lets YouTube know that people come to my channel to watch shit that they don't have balls enough to tell you. You know, it's a good question, because I was talking to Miss Cab about that. I said, even if we had the case number, what could we tell? I mean, it's under gag now, and I was hoping that I had that on video from beforehand. You know, that maybe that video was back there. But when I went back, man, completely to the beginning on my old computer, I went all the way back on YouTube to the first produce, and it was me and Greeno talking about Daniel Nations right after the first year press conference. Now, it would have to go back. Let's see, it was in February, and that would have to go back to probably October, November, December, January, 4 months before that. And that was the cutoff. And the old computer that I had at that time, I gave to my friend Mark that lives down the road. It's gone. So there is no getting that video back at this time. I wish like hell there was, but there is not. 12 thumbs down. Yes. Yes. That means he's still out there. He's still trying to be a little, well, okay, man, I'll come down. I don't want to like get overly customary. Nobody likes that, including me. No, you're awesome, man. You are awesome. Katie, good night. Katie Lacey is taking off. And I hope to see you back next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday. Be here. And don't forget, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Incognito's channel on the 11th. That is Saturday night, I believe. So be there, and we will be live, and we will be discussing Daniel Nations and the reasons why the media made him a prime person of interest. Hell yeah. All right. All right, man. Thanks, thumbs up, people. And thanks, everybody, for viewing anyway. Appreciate it. It's been a long road, man. A long road, man, since last time I was live. Thank God I had to do it, because others would have failed. Other people would have cried right into the pulse of their little bear, like I would have. All right. So if anybody has any questions on the Delphi case, throw them up, and I will get to them immediately, as soon as I see it. Appear where? Raider. Daniel Nations won't appear anywhere except for probation. But yeah, they're not bringing him into it, man. He's an old person of interest. And like I said, we will be talking about him because it was at the first year press conference, and I walked up to Trooper Kim Riley, as most people know that had watched that video, and was asking him about Daniel Nations. And I said, well, is he still a person of interest? Yes. Even though you spoke with him this week, not in Colorado, he's still a person of interest? Yes, he's still a person of interest. Okay, well, then what are you guys doing in your investigation? I mean, like, what is the, what's going on? Well, you see, it's like the suspect had never committed a crime before. Really? You're saying that because he has no DNA match? Well, I can't speak on that. And maybe he has done something, but we can find no traces of it. That told me everything I needed to know. It wasn't about DNA, it was fingerprints. Because you cannot tell by DNA whether somebody's committed a crime or not. Unless it's a crime that they would take DNA for. But no matter what you get arrested for, if it's spitting on the sidewalk and you get arrested, they're taking fingerprints. Every time. You will get your fingerprints taken. That's the only way that he could say the person had never committed a crime before is because they had fingerprints and they had no match. That tells you a person has never committed a crime before. So after 1 year, which is now like 2.5 years in, I was telling people they have fingerprints. You're nuts. You're insane. Dude, you believe in a flat earth. That's the shit I caught for that, man. Guess what? They got fingerprints. Yeah, that's right. Look at me being all narcissistic with my lion's mane. Man, look at me up here talking like I know shit because I do. Peace, Phil. Thanks for being here. Wednesday live? Incog? I mean, do you have a live show this Wednesday? If you do, I do want to make mention of that. Please inform me if you're there. Because I do remember her saying something about a Wednesday night live, and I told her going back that she should have a set time to go live. Oh, great. Okay. Wednesday night, Incognito will be having a live show with Early Riser. If you could give me a time. 5:45-ish. Okay. At 5:45 tomorrow Eastern time, Incognito will be having Early Riser as her live guest tomorrow. And where is Early Riser? There is Early Riser. She told me. Okay. Right on, Early Riser. Here, let me kind of highlight that. Go to Incognito Society's channel tomorrow night at 5:45 ish p.m. Eastern time, and Early Riser will be her guest. Do not miss that show. Eastern time. We live in Indiana. It's always Eastern here. And okay, Crime and Innocence Thursday nights live. You know what, man? I'm glad you people are here, man. I'm glad you're here. I am. We will have this case down in no time. You know what? That's a good channel. That's a good question right there. When? It will be after he is convicted or when his current case is done. So if he is convicted, it will be right after that when these other states can go, because they've had this whole time since he was arrested. Understand that when he was arrested in Missouri, the FBI went and got his DNA. Now, if you're looking at Mary Pryor, Ann Pates, Delphi as prime examples, they had DNA in all three of those cases, but they had no one to point to. Now, they got that DNA for a reason. They took that off the line, off the net for a reason. They don't want you to remember the fact that they got his DNA. Now, why would they do that? Why would they pull all of that? Hey, we went and got his DNA to see if there was other crimes. You know, I mean, that's what we do. We're the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So why would they pull that offline? Wow, man, that's not for the media to tell you. That's for the media to take off the line. That's for me to tell you. It's so that you don't make a connection between the real suspect and Delphi. That's why. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to listen to me. They don't want you. They, the federal government, don't want you, the peasants, to know the truth until they're ready to release it. So I'm fucking telling you. Now, I go back months ago. I said, hey, man, before they come out with the fact that Thomas Jerome Bruce is the suspect, you're probably looking at the end of the world. Corona. People believe that corona is like some mad-ass disease. Bullshit. It's a fucking... That's all it is. Early riser. But it depends on how long the crime goes. I mean the court case goes. If they get him in there and convict him quickly, and I don't see any reason why that they could keep that continued on ongoing. There's only so much that they can bring up even on an appeal. But once that case is over, when he's no longer under representation for that case, that's when they can go down and talk to him. While this current case is open right now, they cannot. But like say they're going to appeal. Well, they can still go down and talk to him at that time, even though that they are appealing. So it's going to wait until after the time that there is a conviction. Be he convicted or whatever, even if he's found like not guilty and it was a total mistake, however that could be. That's when these other states will go talk to him. Now, when I spoke to Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson, he said, I'm taking your tip. He goes, I'm going to take your tip, and I will go down and speak with him. You will? How? He's under representation, man. You can't just go down and talk to him. Oh, no, I can. I don't think you can. I'll call at the end of this month. He never called. But he did give me his private number so I could call him whenever I wanted, and I will call him. But that is not anything that I can put onto YouTube. In fact, the whole of the other conversation is not going up until at which time that he is at least, and I call Chris Swanson and ask if I may, because I don't want anything that involves anything that he said going out to the public, because I do not want in any way to harm any case where that monster has hurt another human being. That I do not want. I did that. I got a hold of Kim Riley. It's on my channel, and I was asking about it. In fact, I'm taking that video down, but I will tell you what he said. It took about 5 minutes for me to get him to understand that I was saying Thomas Bruce. I think he was making that up. I can't hear you. That sound like you said, and he's just playing along, man. I mean, it got pretty funny for a minute. And then when he finally understood that I said Thomas Bruce, he's like, okay, so you're Thomas Bruce? I'm like, oh, dude, come on. Once I made it clear as to who I was talking about, he's like, oh, yeah, well, what do you want to know about him? Well, are you guys going to talk to him? Look, he's down there on another case, man, and that's what they need to deal with. Because that guy down there, man, committed first. I'm like, yeah, I know all that. I said, was you guys going to talk to him? Well, he is a person of interest. I understand he's a person of interest. Well, they're going to have to complete down there with him before we can go talk to him. So I said, so in that meantime, you cannot talk to him. Yeah, if you're looking for a reason why we can't, that would be it. His words. The words of Trooper Kim Riley. While he's down there on that case, we're not going to go talk to him because they can't. People remember Daniel Nations, man. They went out to Colorado to go talk to him. It was on the news. Indiana investigators head to Colorado to talk to Daniel Nations concerning the Delphi case. That was on a Friday when they left. Following Monday, Las Vegas shooting. Anybody remember that? Biggest mass shooting in American history? Yeah, that happened. So we didn't get anything that day, sadly. I'm not making a deal of that, but I mean, like, sadly, because that occurred, we did not get that news. Then when they finally came out to talk about it, they said, well, at this time, we can neither say or can neither include nor exclude him as being a suspect. Well, shit, man, we knew that when you left. You know, what are you saying, man? So when I talked to Daniel Nations on the phone, I'm like, well, what did they ask you? He says, well, they didn't, man. He goes, my public defender, without my consent, stopped him at the door. I wanted to talk to him and give him my DNA so I could be cleared of it and I have to go back to Indiana. So at the first year press conference, 1 week after they extradited him back to Johnson County, Indiana, Daniel Nations is when they spoke to him. 1 week later at the first year press conference, Doug Carter said, we went out to Colorado and we had a long talk with Daniel Nations, to which I said at that time, I knew that would happen. I knew it would happen. Let me repeat. So Kim Riley, you know, I mean, after maintaining like, yeah, well, he's down there and, you know, we can't go talk to him and all this and that. Okay. All right. I get that. So until at which time that happens, then they will go and talk to him because he is a person of interest. Somebody says, well, Thomas Bruce isn't a person of interest. Really? Go to Google and put in Delphi Murders Wiki and look at the wiki. There are 3 persons of interest mentioned. Daniel Nations, covered. Charles Eldridge, didn't fucking do it. And Thomas Bruce, the man that I had maintained for over a year and a half, is the Delphi suspect. I'm not still muted. Lollipop, man. What up? Glad you made it, man. There's Chris G. Man, I was talking about you an hour ago, dude. Man, I already dedicated the show to you and all kind of shit. Told him the whole low diggy, man. All right, 67 people, and I don't know. I'm hoping I got 80 thumbs up, man. It would mean a lot to me, but more so than just me. I mean, you know, my little bear, the Woo, my little wolf, the little true crown prince of Uganda, means a lot to him. It really does, man. And I wouldn't want to break his heart. He does mean the most to me of anything, ever. Ever. Yeah. Oh, all right, man. Right on. Let's kind of get that up there. And others, go over to Crime and Innocence and subscribe if you want. And because I do know that they do cover Delphi. I'm not saying all the time, but for the most part, they do. That is another good channel. Wolf's birthday was fantastic, Chris, man. I'm making a whole video of it, man. But believe me, man, when all the steaks were cooked and all the filming was done, dude, I was burnt, tired, exhausted. Man, it felt like 180 degrees outside, and I was just trying to get it filmed, man, so I could sit down. You know, so... But other than that, I got it on video, and I am producing the video of it, man. I want to add some special highlights and all like that. You know what? My rats are doing really good, man. Really, really good. They really are. I mean, they're just in the cage. Don't take them out a whole hell of a lot, but, you know, I go over and feed them all kinds of little stuff, man. Go, here you go, rats. I don't know. I was going to train one, man, you know, have it dunk in a basketball. True story, man. Like, you know what, man? Go on YouTube, man, and put, like, rat trained to dunk a basketball. Got, like, a little basketball and a little net, man. He'll pick it up, drop it in the net, gets a little treat. No, they don't bite me. No, of course not, man. It was wild crossed with the domestic, man. They're hand raised. They don't bite. No way. Man, if one bit me, man, I'd go evil. Like, how dare you? Man, how dare you bite me? Pimp slap it, man. No, I was a mouse. That was Mr. Jingles. It was on the Green Mile. But everybody, yes, exactly, they are, and I do like rats. I think that rats are a very good pet. I mean, they're more just a little handle pet. They're not really like not like a dog. You know, I mean, you can't take them out squirrel hunting and crap. They don't like all cuddle up in bed and shit. Do like that. I mean, man, if I ever woke up and a rat was in my bed, holy shit. I would be a little upset, to say the least. But, oh yeah, man, the video was, though, man. It was very cool. I like that video. And, you know, they was little bitty babies. I got a second litter after that, man. So as of right now, I probably got like 20, see, with the mom, probably right at 22 rats inside of a big Critter Nation cage. Well, that was pressing 2 years after the Delphi murders. And I don't know what his weight was. And again, man, if you're looking at the pictures from Delphi, he had on a shirt, a hoodie, a jacket over the top of it, plus he had a big belly. Make it what you want of the layers, but that can make a person look bigger. And if you're looking at his upper body size in comparison, man, look at his legs. He does not have big, thick legs. A lot of his weight was like in his face and upper body right here. So anyway, if you care to help out, Michael, what the hell? There it is. If you care to help out Michael Leroy Stroop, a.k.a. Michael Katt, otherwise known as the True King of Uganda, you can send a donation to that PayPal link, and you will get a personal email from he and Woof, depending. There you go. And it will all be good, and hell, I'll dedicate a show to you. I'll even say your name if you say, shout me out. I will. If you don't want to shout out, put in there, do not mention my fucking name, and I won't. That I cannot say. I really cannot answer to that because I am taking other people's words. I do not know that law enforcement had ever mentioned that. If they did, I missed it. I do not need a bone. Neither does Woof. He has no teeth, man. Yeah, well, he has like 2 teeth, man. That's why I feed him canned dog food, and I got to cut his steak into little bitty pieces, little bitty tiny pieces where he can woof it down. But anyway, I appreciate everybody being here. I will be back next week at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. Let's see what else, man. There was other stuff. I got 3 videos, actually 4 videos that I'm producing right now. That I am creating, and I'm using like the better editing skills on it. So they should turn out pretty good. One of them is West's birthday, but the other one that I have yet to create, I walked through the entire scene from where the suspect had parked all the way down. I crossed Monon High Bridge, took it down the same path that he took, crossed Deer Creek where they crossed, over to the crime scene area, went completely around with the camera facing inward, the crime scene, and then walked back out the same direction that he went, up the north side, back to the 501, and back to his where he had parked his vehicle. I also did 2 trips from the main parking area where Cheyenne and Flannel Shirt guy parked, and walked the same path back down to where they walked, and then back, and then to the other side, and got a picture. And then that way, what I can do is I can spool all them together into one video, like from here, this goes to here where this person's at, this goes back over to here where this is happening, and make like an entire crime scene timestamp. Now, I did that going back, and I believe that that is on Greeno's channel. That was originally on my channel, but my channel got taken down, so we took that WKAT, and then I think it may be on WKAT. Check WKAT or Greeno's channel, but I think it's on WKAT, because the ones that we did together, we normally do on WKAT. Lolly has a question. Wait, let me scroll up. And if you can, please copy it. Well, that's in Missouri. Now, what he is facing is life without parole. I don't think that they're offering less than that, because there are the 2 that was alive that can explain everything. They say this is what happened, this is what he did, this is how he did it, everything like that. So I think, and you know what, Ms. Cav is on that. She goes, well, it could be for the reason that he left him alive, because he wanted to see them testify, wanted to see their faces again, kind of relive it in his head. And that is, you know, that's some good thinking right there, man. Wait, 4 more till what? 4 more likes, and what do we hit? What do we hit, Radar? Please, don't leave me hanging here. Well, Lollipop, he's in jail right now for one reason, and that's for the Catholic supply store sexual assault and homicide. Everything else is speculated that he is a suspect on. However, I can lay a 100% guarantee that he committed Delphi. I will put it like that, 100. Okay, well, we need 2 more likes, man, to hit 100, man. Don't take him back now, man. At least give Wolf 100. He turned 105. And if I got 105 likes, oh my God, it would be like another T-bone for my bear. It would be just like that, man. So anyway, he's down there for 1st-degree murder and 16 other felony counts that he's facing life behind bars for. So I don't think that they're going to lower that and say, well, we'll just give you life if you admit to it. Well, there's 2 women that were alive that were right there. So there is really no way that he could accept a plea, but he will have to go in and face that. Now, he might get that lowered to, well, you're guilty of this, this, and this. We'll drop the others. But I don't think that they're going to come off a life behind bars. You know, I think that that's going to be the hit. And once he gets that, that's when the rest comes into play. Thanks, Radar. You rock. Are we at 100 yet? Did we hit 100? Was everybody saying that we'll hit 100, or are we there, man? Because if we're at 100, man, that's the big woo. That's the big whoopty right there. So, man, what is that, man? I got like a little blackhead or something right there. Must have been. Yeah. Jeez. So you don't even notice this till you start staring in the camera at yourself. 98. 98. You would think people would just take a second out of their life just to click that little like button for my little bear the blue. I'm sorry, man. I guess people just don't understand how you feel, man. And they just don't get it. It's cool, man. It's fine. Don't give him 100. All right. Any more questions on Delphi? Throw them up, and I'll get right to them, man. Throw me a question on Delphi for my little Woof. For Woof, man. For little Woof. The old man. Yeah, 105, man. I get, 101. All right. Yes. See how you guys are so awesome and shit? God, man, God. And it's just me sitting here talking to you. It's got to make Woof feel good. It does. It has to. Yeah, he feels really good. All right. 101. Couldn't have asked better, man, for my little comeback video, man, after a week being gone. And I hope that everybody understood that when I was on Incognito's channel, because I said I would not be having a live show last Tuesday because my computer was down. I was on my old one, and believe me, man, all you got to do is say something wrong, man. It just goes down, man, then comes back on. And when I got on her show, as soon as I got there, boop, it went down. So at least I got a new computer with my old hard drive, and I got my backup so that I can put everything on this hard drive onto that backup, new video or new hard drive. And then that way it's all saved back. That way I'm not going to be without my information. And believe me, when my computer went, oh yeah, I'll do that right now if you like. Okay. Pardon me for a second. I've been asked to do a COVID rant. Smart Money says I should do it without muting. So, me? Yes, I am. And it is not a debut by any means. Oh, wait. It's not a debut by any means. I was on her show twice, actually. I was, I think, her first live show, and then I was on the one that was, that person 2 weeks ago, this Saturday, for a quick minute. And let's see, what was the other? Oh, yes, the COVID rant. People, there is no way to explain this in just a quick rant, but I'm going to do my best. Please listen carefully. Please listen very carefully. We in this nation do not have a government. You think we have a government, but we don't. Our government filed bankruptcy in 1933 under Roosevelt. Okay? That's what happened to our government. See, in our government, these judges, presidents, Senate, Congress, they all take an oath to the Constitution. Read the fucking Constitution. Damn. Should have muted that part. Read the Constitution where it says, if a citizen is held for criminal charges, it must be under common law. Under common law. When you go to criminal court and you ask them, excuse me, what jurisdiction are you trying me under? Well, it's almost always going to be statutory jurisdiction, which is legislative law. Well, what's the nature of this? Oh, it's a criminal offense. Didn't you swear an oath to the Constitution that dictates that a criminal offense must be under common law? You know, where I have to hurt another person or their property or steal? Is that not the fact? They'll hit you with contempt for that, man, if you say it loud enough, because they don't give a shit. You got to understand, man, that you are not a person. You are a corporation. Look at your ID. Look at your birth certificate. Look at your social security card. Look at how your name's spelled in all capital letters, because you're a fucking corporation. They did that in 1933 to make you a corporation so that they could try you criminally under commercial law. It's not even criminal. There is no criminal courts that are under common law in America because our government is gone. Our government's a corporation, the states are a corporation, and you, when you go to court, are seen as a corporation. Somebody's going to pay. Guess who? It ain't going to be a person. It's going to be you because you stand under that name. Yes, Your Honor, that's my true and correct name. Yeah. Well, great. How are you going to pay? Corporation. Now, being that you're a fucking slave, a corporate slave, you got to do what they fucking tell you. Courts mandate you must wear a mask. Well, that means you, corporation, your ass better be wearing a mask, like Sharia law. Man, woman, child, wear a fucking mask. Cover your face while they fucking laugh at you. It's the goddamn flu. Nothing worse than the flu. No, it ain't a bad strain of flu. Every time they say corona on your television, your middle finger ought to be right here. And you ought to be turning it off. And you ought to be throwing that goddamn television, that programming device in the motherfucking lake. Because all those shows, all the news, all the music, everything you fucking enjoy in life is nothing but a spin to make you believe how those cocksuckers want you to think. Period. What is COVID? It's this year's flu. No different than any other flu. It sucks to get the flu. There it is. Who dies of the flu? Old people with lowered immune systems. Who's dying of COVID? Old people with lowered immune systems, just like the flu. That's it. If you're afraid of COVID-19 or, well, I have to wear a mask because my job says, well, guess what? You're a fucking slave. Be happy in your fucking pursuit of happiness, slave. Fucking do what they tell you, slave. Be a good goddamn slave. Be the best fucking slave you can be. I'll tell you right now, they come at me with the needle, they got a problem because I'm going to say, yeah, man, you can hit me with that fucking poison. Same time as you go into Kokomo and you make McDonald's, the building, take a shot. Because I am a corporation now, fully owned. I own the corporation. They no longer own my name like they do yours. I fucking UCC'd my name after getting my birth certificate duly authenticated by the state and the federal government to perfect it as a document, to file it that I am owner in due course of it and fucking had it recorded in my county. They do not tell me what to do. I do not need a license to drive. I cannot be hit for any kind of like offense like that. If it is a code in a statute, wrong. The only thing that they can try me for is common law. Period. Common law. If I do not hurt a person or their property or steal, I committed no crime. Why aren't you like that? Why aren't you? Because you believe deep down we have a government, don't you? You believe that President Trump is the president of our government. Bullshit. He's a corporate fucking president. That's his job. He knows the lowdown. He knows it better than you. You know who has President Donald Trump's birth certificate UCC'd? Donald Trump! Duh! That's why they can't see his taxes. He don't have to pay taxes. He don't pay taxes. His corporation does. They can see that shit. He don't give a fuck. He don't care about his corporation. He don't care. Yeah, man. I don't even pay my taxes, man. I got people that pay those taxes. We ain't worried about that. They'll never see his taxes. They'll never see his taxes. He don't pay taxes. He's a fucking human. You have to pay taxes because you stand clear to the name of, yes, I am this corporation. Duh. Yeah, I'm in this corporation. Look. Here's my fucking ID that says I'm a corporation. See, I don't even drive. I travel. Where I travel, I got a right to travel in my horseless carriage. There it is. All right. Yeah, Barry Morphew is Delphi murderer. Right on. Jesus, man. Don't talk to people, man. They misconstrue everything. Anyway, man, I thank everybody for being here tonight, and I will see you all next Tuesday. And if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. But like, let's just say you lost, and you can send that money right there to Michael Leroy Stroop, man, right at his PayPal address. And I will see you all next week. Thanks, mods, man. Thank Carol, man. Why in the hell are you showing up like right at the end? You know what, Carol? I will tell you this. I will do that. In fact, I made a separate channel to do exactly that. The thing is that when I did that and I started that channel, because look, I could sit here and give it to you in paragraphs and say, well, this is what you got to do. But the thing is that nobody will understand why you have to do that. And really, in order to get the full magnitude of what is going on, it takes some reading. It takes some study. In fact, you know what? Actually, specifically just on that, Carol, I will do this. If you go to my, fucking Wombat Dundee, man, everybody, why are you all showing up late? Why is everybody showing up late, man? Yeah, 6 p.m., people. Anyways, you see, because when I speak to people, I'm more or less speaking to United States citizens. Now, they think they're United States citizens. They believe that. They believe that they are a United States citizen. Anything that they sign, it says, are you a United States citizen? Bet your ass I am. They think they're a United States citizen. No. The United States came into effect in 1933 as a corporation. We are an Americans. We are Americans. Now, so you might ask, well, then see, that don't affect me because I'm not in America. I am a United States citizen. Wrong. It covers absolutely every single person on earth because the UCC is not American. It is uniform. It is worldwide. Worldwide. And once you get your birth certificate and you UCC that after having it authenticated because your country owns your name, or if you live in like America, like I do, then the state owns your name and the government owns your property. If you own a house, look at the deed. You are listed as a tenant. Why? Because you owe them taxes. Constitution says that a person's income will not be taxed. Why are you taxing our income? Because they don't give a fuck, and they know as long as you stand by the fact that you are that all capitalized name, you ass will pay taxes or you'll go to federal prison. Now, to simply put that in there, because, man, this is covering 20-some years of research into that and into the UCC 2 years, because it is not easy and it can't just be said in a single sentence. However, I will say this. If you go to my channel, which you're at, but go to my channel, and then look at my featured channels. Look at Rob Ryder. Look at High Frequency Radio. Look at A Texas Cash. Those three right there, they talk specifically about the details. Now, if you do not, or you know what? Rob Ryder is really good. His name's really Robert Allen Retluski, and I called him, and I was like, dude, fucking well done. I love the way you lay this stuff out, man. I love the way you speak and talk about it. Like what you do. Everything that you do, man, is just, you know. And I mean, I called him, man. I said, dude, I'm calling you because I wanted to talk to you, for one. And two, I am fucking donating money to you because, like, thumbs up, man. That guy just has such a handle on it. But if you go to any one of those channels, you're not going to get what you really want. That's why I suggest go look up the book, and I'm going to put it right here. I don't pay taxes for one reason. The Constitution dictates that I do not have to pay taxes. A corporation has to pay taxes, though, and that's what people think they are, man. They pull out their ID. May I see your driver's license? Here you go. Here it is. No, I UCC'd my driver's license. My state ID is owned by me now. So is my name. So is my birth certificate. Because at the end of the road, no matter where you live, that central bank owns your name. It goes from the hospital to the Office of Vital Statistics to the Secretary of State of the state you live in to the Secretary of Treasury of the United States and then is housed in a Federal Reserve warehouse. And if you look at the back of your Social Security card, it should read a letter and then numbers. That is the Federal Reserve Bank with the routing number of where they hold your birth certificate. Now, once you get that and you see it, now you say, I own this. I am owner in due course. You cannot step above that and say, no, we own your corporation, because there are things that they cannot come out with. And one is your corporation and we own your name. That's how we can do this shit outside of the oath of office. They ain't going to tell you that, man. You're a fucking slave. In every country, Australia, UK, any country, you do as I did, you're free. You are sovereign, not a sovereign citizen. There's no such thing as a fucking sovereign citizen. Anybody that comes up to me and says, I'm a sovereign citizen, I know they're full of shit and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. There is no such thing as a sovereign that is a citizen. I am an American nationalist, not a fucking United States citizen. If they ask me, are you a United States citizen? No. I'm a foreign corporation incorporated in America. There it is. Now, if you're going to hit me with something, you better hit me with American, like by the Constitution. Because if you don't, you know as well as I do that you got to dismiss that shit with recourse. That's the real lowdown. You can do it. Anybody in the world can do it. Look up Redemption Manual 4.5 PDF. I'll put it in just like this. Hang on, I can barely see here with these glasses. Go to Google and look that up right there. Redemption Manual 4.5, and right after 4.5, put PDF. Save it. It's 700 pages, but there's a lot of forms in there. It begins with the Wizard of Oz, which is an analogy to what they did to us. Then it goes into the Matrix, which is an exact, pretty much. It's like when Morpheus is talking to the guy, to Neo. He wants to know about the Matrix. Well, it's everywhere. It's when you look outside, it's everywhere. It's everything you see. You just don't see it. It's what they do. It's all right there. It's all right there in English. You can look right into it. It takes a long time. But once you read through everything, there's going to come that moment of, I get it. I get it. Now I get it. Now I understand why that they can do this. Because, my whole life I thought, well, people believe and think the same way I do. People don't, man. People do not think the way I do at all. They just don't. People have a television, man. They get off work. They come home. They park it in front of the television. They watch their favorite show, never realizing that show, all the little music, all the words, everything, makes them believe a certain way. It gives them something to talk about. Television is like one of the biggest enemies out there, as is music too. Man, it's all shit. So if you want to know about it, look up the Redemption Manual 4.5, start reading. When you complete that, that is entry level, and then go watch these channels. Watch Robert Allen, watch Rob Ryder, watch the Texas Cash, watch High Frequency Radio with Yusuf Thal. These people know what they're talking about. And you've got to have that entry level knowledge to understand that what they're talking about is real. But once you have read that book, then you're there. Then you can look at it and you can make sense of what they're saying. Then you start looking at the legal side of it. Like, well, why is this allowed? Why is it allowed? Because you are a corporation. You're not a person. You're not seen by the court as a person. You are seen as a corporation. It is commercial. And guess what? Somebody's got to pay. And if you think, well, the judge felt sorry for it. No, he didn't. You're a corporation. That's what you are seen at when you go to court, as the corporation is going to pay. Be it by time and the money that they earn on you, or you're going to give them money, one way or five, you're going to pay somehow. But you're not going to walk out there all innocent and give Katt money, folks. Well, I like your thought, but I would never put it like that. It's not giving me money. This goes to my channel, people. And believe me, man, I was set back like about $300, man, on the, well, because I want a real high def live camera. So when I go live, man, it ain't all like on a webcam like this. It's more high def and, you know, that way I can really like, you know, get my hair into it and, you know, all that. Look at my finest and best and all that. So anyway, I am doing that on a separate channel. I think it's UCC1. And that is the form that you first fill out is a UCC1 financing statement. And you basically place a lien against everything that you own. Right there. I mean, with everything with the security agreement. I own everything that I own. I am owner in due course of. They cannot take my car. If I'm driving, I ain't even got a license. I had one. I just don't drive. I rarely ever drive. Well, I do now. I got to run Ryan over to get alcohol and shit all the time. But, I mean, like if I was out driving, man, they could not hit me for not having a license. I'm not driving. I am traveling. You know, a driver, the reason that you got to have a driver's license is because the state owns your vehicle. That's why you have to have it registered with the state. They own your name. Anything that you own, they own. See, and if you own a vehicle, you have to register it with the state. No, I register it with the state and say, okay, now I want it unregistered. How much? 25. Okay, well, here's the money. Okay, now it's unregistered. Now I'm taking the VIN number and I'm fucking UCCing it. I'm putting a private plate on it. I got that car bonded for insurance reasons. Now I can drive with because now it is my ID, not the state's. My vehicle don't belong to the state. And people make it like this, like, oh, so you would drive down the highway 100 miles an hour. No, probably no. No, I wouldn't have any reason to drive down the highway going 100 miles an hour. But if I did have to get someplace quick and was going that fast and got pulled over, I'd say, yeah, man, I was traveling to get there. I had to be there quickly. Now, cop ain't going to know that. Cop don't know any of this shit. Believe me, man, this is years and years and years of study, man, that went into like all this shit. But the judge knows. The prosecution knows. And once they know that you know what they know, then they're like, okay, yeah, we would like to dismiss this case at this time and give you X amount of money recourse because I'd have it itemized for damages of human rights, which is what they violate. And you would get recourse money for that because they fucking violated you. But they don't a corporation. If you're a corporation, guess what, man? You got to pay. Not totally so. Carol. Quite trollish. It is not like that at all. You say, oh, so they're paying for him being kept incarcerated with their taxes. Let me tell you about taxes. Do you realize in taxes what it is that you're paying for? Because before our income was taxed, and I'm talking specifically income, we still had state and fucking county tax for that shit. Don't forget that. You think that just federal, income tax pays for all that? Fuck no. No, your federal income tax and you and your work and your credit are all collateral on the debt. That's what the collateral is. You, your sweat, your credit, all of that, and your taxes, every last dime they can fucking rob out of your ass goes for anything that they say it goes for. Well, I call complete fucking bullshit on it. We kept people any goddamn way. And you know what? If they didn't break common law, their ass should be not in prison. He did break common law, and he should be kept there. And that is their taxes. That's their corporation's taxes right there. Not mine. I don't give a fuck what they did with other people's taxes. I know that like my state and county taxes and sales tax and all that shit tax and every other goddamn tax. Well, how many millions of taxes are there? All of them. Because they won't stop till they get every fucking dime you have. And they won't stop till you fucking show up to get a bag of food each week at a bread line. They won't fucking stop. So yeah, in answer to your question, yeah, that's where other people's fucking taxes are going, to keep Thomas Bruce in jail. Fuck Carol. God, man. You don't have to be a dick. Have I tested it out? I don't test shit. I know the ramifications before going in. Only one person in this world can represent me in court, and I am not to be represented. But over that corporate name, I have it copyrighted, and I have recorded the fact that I am the person that holds power of attorney over that name. If they take my capitalized name to court, yes, I am here representing that corporation's name. But I will not proceed unless I am seen as a living, breathing, God-created entity. If the court cannot see me as that, then I cannot proceed with my case. But I am here to clear this name in this case today. That's how you do that. That's how it's done. And again, I would like to lay it out in like a couple of paragraphs, but you know, we gotta get questions like that there, Carol. I do. I get those, man. I get the people that try to lead it one way and then go, oh, so what you're really saying is, no, I am not fucking saying that. I ain't saying that shit at all. Thank you, Carol. All right, everybody. I will see you next Tuesday at 6 p.m. I thank everybody for being here. I don't know what happened to all the moderators. I hope they're still around, man. I thank all of you guys. Take care until next week. And if you have any, let me pull that up here real quick, like. That is the donation, and this is my email right there. Write that down. If you have any questions on the Delphi case, Evansdale, Mary Pryor, Ann Pates, or anything else that you feel significant toward Thomas Jerome Bruce, please send it there, and I will take a look at it. And I will talk to you guys next Tuesday. Expect a video out before then, though. Oh, and don't forget Incognito's channel on the 11th, Saturday the 11th at 9 p.m. I'll be on. And she has a Wednesday show tomorrow at 5:45 p.m. with Early Riser. Don't miss that. Peace, everyone. Have a great week.